If you're like me, you have wanted to be funny in your act because you feel like you're kind of funny in person, but it doesn't always translate to what you put on stage. The book we're talking about in today's episode proposes to solve this problem with you. The good news is it's not very expensive, it's not very long, but it is quite practical, and I believe will help you as you decide who your character is and how to incorporate funny pieces into that character. The book is Comedy, Character, and Control by Michael Misko, a 25-plus year veteran of performing magic. Michael performs at corporate banquets, strolling magic, and on cruise ships. The subtitle of the book is Turning Tricks into Laughs. As a comedy magician, this is something that's very important to Michael, and if you're like me, it's important to you. So the real question is, does the book fulfill its purpose? In short, yes, but let's talk about what's included in it, what you can expect, how much it costs, and where you can get it. As you can tell, the book is a softbound paperback, and it is approximately 115 pages. There are 7 different chapters covering a broad range of topics, all having to do with becoming a better performer and connecting more with your audience. Now, even if you are an amateur magician or part-time pro, someone who doesn't do a lot of paid shows, it's okay because this book is still going to help you when it comes to improving your overall magic. And the reason for that is Michael is giving you some practical examples from his own life about how he learned to be funny. But before he gets into that, he talks about building his character and what that should look like. These are all things that are very relevant to me because I've struggled with them for a long period of time, and I gained some clarity from this book. The reason for that is Michael's approach. The writing style is funny without going overboard or trying too hard, but I think it's also the simplicity of the explanations, the clear steps that you can take, and the encouragement to do so based on his own experience. And unlike other books on the subject of becoming funny, I appreciated the fact that Michael meets you where you are. One of his points in Becoming Funny is talking about how sometimes you just need to start with the funny that you bought. So if a trick has built-in humor, you may just start with that and then end up tailoring it as you perform it more and more for your character. Now, of course, there are other tips, but I appreciate just that nugget that says this is practical advice and not pie in the sky saying, oh, be original, because we all know how difficult that can be. In addition to the chapters on character, how to become more funny, he also spends a little bit of time telling you how to deal with hecklers in your show. This advice will probably be more practical for those with a parlor or bigger size audience. If you just do tricks for friends, you can't deal with your friends the same way that you would deal with a heckler, someone you don't know out in the audience. But Michael does give you some very practical advice on how to regain control of the situation, what happens when your mind shuts down and you can't think of how to respond appropriately, very practical steps, as well as some very funny examples from his own show and life. While he writes about this in the context of how to handle a heckler, it also is practical advice for when something goes wrong in your trick. So no matter what kind of problem you're facing in your show, these are going to be good things to know. Next, he gives you 3 tips that he's found to be some of the most important things when doing cruise magic. Now, I'll tell you up front, I don't do cruise magic. I don't have really any interest in doing cruise magic, but I still think that the advice that he gives here is just as important no matter what kind of either part-time or full-time professional work you're trying to do. While the book doesn't really have much magic, it does share with you one of Michael's signature pieces, and the reason that he's sharing it is because he has a different take on this classic. It's the Bill to Lemon. And I know we all probably know several versions of this trick, but Michael has restructured it in a way to try to eliminate some of the perceived flaws that he had in the structure. There are a lot of nuances and ways to pull comedy out of this to enhance your audience's experience, and even some practical updates for modern audiences. He addresses what to do to ensure that you get the best reactions, given that today's audience members typically have shorter attention spans than they did 20 or 30 years ago. The final substantive chapter talks about how to make sure that you're always set up for success by not ending your show after the final bow, but rather resetting all of your props. He goes into a bunch of different details there on the way to conduct yourself as a professional so that you help yourself and prepare even more for the next performance. I mentioned that there aren't a lot of tricks. You're going to get his touches on Bill to Lemon, and you can learn how to do that from this book if you don't already have a good method or want to use the finesses that he teaches here. However, this book expects that you are someone who is looking to become more of a professional performer. Because let's face it, if you're just doing a few tricks for friends or coworkers, then you probably don't care that much about character development, heckling, or increasing your professional level. But if you are the type of magician who cares about that kind of thing, I do think there's a lot of valuable advice from someone who's been in the trenches and knows what they're talking about. To meet that criteria, obviously you're going to have to know a lot of your own tricks, and if you don't already have books that will teach you tricks that you can perform, then I recommend you shop with the sponsor of this week's video, Don's Magic and Books. I've been shopping with Don for a long time, and you can tell that I have lifetimes worth of magic on my shelves. And I would love nothing more than for you to get the same great deals that I got from Don on some of these books that are rare, out of print, or hard to find. For example, recently I acquired a book signed by my favorite magician, Al Baker, and I got this for a great deal from Don. If you're looking for similar great finds, then you need to head to Don's website, donsmagicandbooks.com, because once he gets in something that's rare, he lists them at such great prices, it's not going to last very long. So check it frequently to find the best deal on used or new magic books. I don't know what you're waiting for. Shop with Don's Magic and Books this week. Let's talk about the value proposition of this book. As you can imagine, the book is self-published, so the only place that you can get this right now is from michaelmisko.com, and I will drop a link down in the description below if you're interested. He sells the book in 2 different formats. I have the paperback version, and you can acquire that for $20, or if you're just looking for the information and you don't care about the format, you can get the PDF for only $7. I don't know about you, but I think that this is a really great buy for what it is. Advice from in the trenches about how to be funnier, how to deal with hecklers, how to increase your professional level, and along the way, think about the structure of your own performances as he gives you an example of the Bill to Lemon. The book doesn't really include any photographs. There are a couple of line drawings to illustrate things like the structure of the Bill to Lemon, and there are some QR codes to demonstrate examples of certain things in the book. He has a bunch of footnotes. Most of those are done to break up the way the book reads, keep it funny and lighthearted, and I actually found them to be amusing and interesting. This will only appeal to a small percentage of magicians, but if you've made it this far in the video, comment down below and let me know why you're interested in a book like this. There's something to be said for the smaller book that you can sit down and read through in a short amount of time. It's less intimidating, and it means you're more likely to actually absorb the material. If that type of smaller book is your thing, then be sure to check out this video that I made for you. As always, my friend, I appreciate you watching. Until next time, keep reading.